So, why don't we start with the one day only to tear down? This is an interesting site.
Exciting.
Yeah,
Let
let's
me
do
share
it.
the screen. Okay,
Oh
can you
boy.
guys see
wow.
this?
Yes.
All right, let's scroll through first and just take a quick look to see. This is their homepage.
There's definitely a lot to look at.
It's very colorful.
It keeps
There's
on going
no,
too, huh?
yeah, there's
Yeah,
no apparent
the
grid.
scroll bar.
It definitely feels like you're at like a garage sales or something. You're just kind of like going through a bunch of stuff, bunch of random odds and ends. I think
Sandra, do you know every time you come back to this, if you go into incognito mode, like does it change or is it the same for everybody? I'm curious about that.
We can try. Let me copy the link.
Just, like, is it, they're just like throwing stuff at you or do they actually have some kind of logic? Would be interesting to know.
Yeah. It looks like I'm just comparing, sorry, in the separate screen. It's the same.
Okay.
Yeah, nothing
Okay.
changes.
no logic.
There's no lot, unless maybe like you're signed in, maybe then they would show something different. Who knows? But
Maybe
anyway,
they
okay.
shopping history.
Yeah. So it looks like it's a daily deal site, and there's a clock with a countdown that tells you you have 8 hours to buy all of this stuff, basically.
Yeah.
Yeah, that seems like
I
a good
think.
summary. It looks like they're really trying to drive that sense of urgency with the countdown clock, this like shop now with an exclamation point, save percentage off, and these like there's lots of little call outs just to drive urgency.
Mm-hmm.
It also
Cool.
looks like there's not really there's no consistency in like the imagery they're using. I think they're just pulling whatever they can.
Right. Yeah. So you know what, like, Ben, we were having this conversation separately about how sites sometimes purposely are yucky looking. And I wonder if this is one of those sites where they want to make it seem like you're rummaging through stuff in like some weird warehouse and finding deals. Like people love finding deals, but like they have to work for it to feel like they found a deal. So I wonder if this is like one of those sites,
It
like
does
on
feel like it.
purpose.
Yeah, it does feel like it. Kind of like the dollar store strategy where they're just going for like cheap products. They're not going for a classy audience. They're just trying to appease like just trying to find a good deal for anyone that's looking for random odds and ends throughout the day.
Right. Because it's probably not, I bet they have an amazing email list, but it's probably not catered that much. It's just they want to create that habit of people just coming back and then looking for I think just like getting people to come back over and over and then just buying whatever catches their eye,
Yeah,
essentially.
exactly.
Okay, so it's not needs based. It's definitely just like attract them and try to convert them with a million different options. A
Yeah,
hoarder's paradise.
yeah, exactly. I think it's all about the options. It's a very different design approach too compared to most sites where they have a clear hierarchy. Here they just have this left bar that's always there and then scrolling endless products with no real sense of hierarchy. Everything's kind of like calling out at its own like weight of attention too.
Yeah, good point. So, Sandra, if you were to click on one of these things, what happens?
All right, let's see. I'm going to guess
I
it
thought you
takes
were
you
going
to the,
okay. So then you're
it's just a
okay.
traditional product type
Okay,
page.
like an Amazon or whatever, right?
Mhm.
You have that consistent bar up top where it's half off everything, shop now. So it looks like they just, even if you're looking at a product, they want you to continue looking at other products too.
Mm-hmm. Right.
That's a good point.
And even the CTA is a little bit different than a typical like shop now or buy now. It's I want one.
Mm-hmm.
They're definitely going after the target audience.
I want one, right? Yes, good catch, Ben. There is something nice about that. I actually like call to actions that are in first person. Like even on our Gather and Grow registration page, I say stuff like save my seed or sign me up. because they're talking about themselves. So this is kind of interesting. You're totally right. I'm sure they've A/B tested the crap out of this. I mean, I hope they did.
Yeah, it's definitely more casual. It's not like more like formal e-commerce sites. This one, it knows its audience, even though it's not the prettiest looking. They're just trying to appease to the normal everyday person looking for a good deal.
So how would you improve this, Ben? Assuming some of these things are done deliberately, how would you improve this site?
Yeah, I think one of the things that you see on other like e-com sites where it's a lot of the deal of the day type things is it's easy to sort and filter. Here, it doesn't look like there's any of that capability. It looks like it's just endless scrolling products, and it's really difficult to find anything. I think if they wanted to kind of like drive conversion, then you would want to add some sort of like filtering or searching to be able to find what people are actually interested in.
Great point. And the filtering could be very simple, because if they want to keep that hoarding aspect and still allow for a better UX, they could just do something like men's versus women's or household, but some basic categories. Because they look like they have hundreds and hundreds of products every day. So some high level filtering, you're totally right, could be really great.
Yeah, and then maybe there's a few too many call outs because they have like limited sizes, more options, bestseller. There's just so much always calling out for your attention. I think that maybe they wouldn't need as much of that if it was easy to find the products that you're interested in.
Yes, great point. They have the call outs, and sometimes they're mixed with like the brand name. There was one that I saw just Cassandra, if you scroll back up, like, these glasses like Bondi Blue, like in some cases, they're leading with the brand. Sometimes it's enter now or win this Smeg mixer or what have you. Agreed. I wonder if they could do like kind of like what you were saying about the filters. They could do like categories, like contests is like one, and like high-end branded items could be another one, or something like that.
Yeah, maybe even their best sellers, since they seem to be kind of like touting that on some of the products, like seeing what some of the best sellers are. On the side too, I see there is like a subscribe to be notified of new deals too. I wonder if they have any kind of rewards or anything to kind of entice people to come back once they are subscribed, other than just throwing more deals at them.
Well, the person who submitted this site apparently visits it a lot. And he was telling us about all the stuff that he bought, and it sounded like he didn't really need it. So I'm pretty sure he's on this list. And it looks like a simple subscription list. Yeah, they probably send you an email every day, I'm guessing.
I'm guessing it's almost addictive to continue just to see what the deals are that day, what the golden find is.
No, this is such a fascinating. It's kind of like Groupon, but not really. It's literally like, hey, I have a bunch of stuff. Anyone want it? And they've just made it this like amazing loop and habit. I would. My biggest pet peeve is like when my eye doesn't know where to look, and I would even be happy to rummage through this. It just needs like a proper grid system. I think that alone would alleviate many of my personal issues, and I wouldn't be so irritated looking at this.
It's quite overwhelming. You get a little tired just looking at a few sections. I think giving a little bit more white space and putting together a good grid system where you're only looking at a few products at a time instead of looking at 12 products at a time might help just people be able to last a little bit longer when they're searching through products.
Oh, you know what this reminds me of now? Now I know. It's when you go to those grocery stores and they have those like flyers printed in the card already? This is exactly that.
Those are notorious for their design. So yeah, I think that's a really good that's a really good comparison.
Yeah, no, we're making fun of the site, but honestly, I bet they make a shit ton of money.
Yeah. I think with a few tweaks, they'd even be more successful too. But yeah, it's definitely something unique. It's not something you see very often. It kind of breaks a lot of the rules that are typical in e-commerce design.
Yeah, absolutely. Maybe we can wrap this up, but Cassandra, can you click on their Instagram on the left? I just want to see what they post on their Instagram.
What their actual brand looks like.
Oh my god. Oh, it's so much better.
Yeah, it's clean.
What?
Wow. And there you can even start to see they have some like brand consistency in the colors they're using and the typography.
Oh my
Yeah.
God. Why can't they just do this?
Yeah, I think that's the other thing is like the imagery consistency was all over the place on the sites, whereas here it feels like it's at least trying to be a bit similar and consistent.
Mm-hmm. Interesting. Okay, so the social media person is not the website person, clearly. No, this is so much better, and yeah, I love it. This
They
is
have
great.
125K followers, so a good number
Right.
of people watching it.
Yeah, absolutely. Cool. Well, very interesting
Awesome.
site. I mean, I kind of I've heard other people say things about Amazon because they Amazon's UX is also kind of actually I should say UX. Their UX is actually pretty good, and they try to reduce the number of clicks. Like literally, if you have Amazon Prime, you can with one click purchase stuff, which is wonderful. But yeah, it's kind of like murky looking, similar to this, which also people have, alleged that maybe that's on purpose as well.
Yeah, it's a
Um,
huge challenge when there's lots of content and options for people to look at and how to kind of surface
mhm.
it to the customer in the best way possible.
Right, and Amazon's kind of being set up a bit like a marketplace. So there's different vendors, and how you're gonna like govern all their guidelines, and it's hard. So I could see that. But yeah, here I wonder if they manage the site themselves, or they give all of these partners that they might have access to it. I think
I,
that's an open-ended question. The way that it's set up, I suspect it's the latter.
that would be my guess as well.
Hmm. Cool. Okay, nice one. Very interesting, and good to know that there's companies that make these deliberate choices.